Hello everybody, my name is Armgang, but you can just call me Ryan. We are here today to rebook Dolph Ziggler after the 2013 Payback pay-per-view, where, as you know, Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler were going back, like, they had their world title match, and Del Rio absolutely kicked the shit out of Dolph Ziggler. They were playing up the whole thing that Dolph Ziggler got the concussion, and in the end, Del Rio beat him, and it was a clear double turn. Dolph Ziggler was clearly a super over babyface. I mean, he was an over babyface before, which is evidenced by his Money in the Bank cash-in, but they made it official at Payback by turning him face. But then after that, he went on to get disqualified from their world title match at Money in the Bank, which I was at, and it was just bad. He got disqualified because of AJ, and it was stupid. And then after that, he broke up with AJ because of it, and they went on to SummerSlam to have something stupid. And then Dolph Ziggler dropped further and further down the card to the point where at TLC he fought Fandango in the pre-show and lost. That's right. By the end of the year, he was losing to Fandango on the pre-show. You took him from world champion to pre-show loser. I'm fixing that right now. So we start off at we start off the night after, where Del Rio's gloating about how he took out about how he took out Ziggler. Del Rio's gloating about how he took out Ziggler. Ziggler might never come back because of the head trauma he suffered at Payback. And Dolph Ziggler doesn't return. Del Rio moves into his feud with Christian a few months early, because originally, I believe Del Rio ended up fighting Christian at SummerSlam, while Ziggler went on with his whole mixed tag team match that year. This time, instead, it's Christian versus Del Rio, Money in the Bank, and Del Rio defeats Christian, obviously. Then post-match, Del Rio is assaulting Christian because he's going batshit since, he injured Dolph. He's trying to do the same thing to Christian, and then out comes the returning Dolph Ziggler to the huge pop in Philadelphia. He comes out, he beats the shit out of Alberto Del Rio. Then the rematch is set for SummerSlam. The match goes on for quite a while. These two are going back and forth. It's a much more competitive match this time than it was the original time. Del Rio's head damage Del Rio's damage to Dolph Ziggler's head is kind of like it's subsided by this point. There's still points in the match where the commentators play up that Del Rio's targeting the head once again, and there's even a couple scary moments in where he starts laying in kicks and whatnot. But then out of nowhere, Dolph Ziggler hits a sweet chin music and gets the 1, 2, 3. Comes right out of nowhere, and then Dolph Ziggler finally gets one over on Alberto Del Rio. But then his celebration is cut short. Del Rio starts assaulting him. Del Rio by this point is well out of his mind. Everybody thought he was going crazy before he had even lost the title. I mean, he was trying to injure Christian and Ziggler then, and now he's just beating the crap out of him. So at Night of Champions, the rematch takes place. It's no holds barred, and once again, Dolph Ziggler overcomes Alberto Del Rio just to put the final nail in it. And then the next night on Raw, Zeb Coulter says, "Hey, remember that match that was supposed to happen in Extreme Rules? Let's have that inside of Hell in a Cell." But then, so obviously Del Rio agrees with this because the original match was supposed to be Del Rio, Ziggler, and Swagger at Hell in a Cell. So Del Rio kind of bandwagons this, as well as obviously Jack Swagger, who wants this match to happen. So the Authority, who obviously at this point, this is where the Authority had just started, and we can even start that whole Authority versus Dolph Ziggler thing a lot earlier. And by the way, at this point, AJ Lee and Big E are still associated with Dolph, but they don't help him out anymore. They're still heels, he's still a face. I don't want that feud to get involved with Dolph Ziggler as the world champion. So let's just leave that. So at Hell in a Cell, the triple threat happens. Dolph Ziggler, Del Rio, and Jack Swagger. And Dolph Ziggler ends up overcoming. He ends up overcoming the other two. He he lays out Del Rio after Del Rio lays out Swagger. He gets the 1-2-3, and he's finally put that whole concussion thing behind him with Swagger and Del Rio, so he can start moving on to other feuds. Dolph Ziggler is big. He's world champion, and he's finally solidified himself by beating Del Rio and Swagger multiple times. And then, as Big E and AJ come out to celebrate with Dolph Ziggler, they attack him. They beat Dolph Ziggler down. They put him. Big E just beats him down and beats him down while AJ's yelling, "Keep going, keep going." And then, post-match, you get the cash in from Damien Sandow, who cashes in on Dolph Ziggler and takes the World Championship away from him, which puts Dolph Ziggler into a feud with Big E, so that feud could finally start now. Just not at SummerSlam, it's kind of pushed back. Dolph Ziggler is now a really credible champion, or he's a credible former champion, so that way, when you go with Dolph Ziggler and Big E, if Big E gets the win on him, Big E looks like an even bigger star now. Big E just beat a world champion, so it works out for everybody. Yeah, Del Rio doesn't get another long title reign, but who wanted to see another Del Rio long title reign anyway? Dolph Ziggler finally establishes himself over the summer as a credible world champion, and Damien Sandow doesn't lose the Money in the Bank cash-in, which I think makes everybody a bit happier. So that's how I would do it.